Beautiful. Gunnar, I'm going to give you that job. I need you to remind me when it's almost the end of class. The end of class is 2:35, so at 2:30, because I'm going to forget, and try teaching you until 2:50.
You know I won't forget.
Okay. Now I'm keeping Gunnar engaged by giving him a job. All right, because he already did this part.
I will not let you down.
Okay, he's here for me. All right, so we're going to head over to page 74 of Grammar for High School. Now, you're going to be answering these questions about adjective clauses as we read. So the first thing it tells you to do on this doc is to read. So I'm going to read to you, and I'll stop and ask some questions, and we'll fill this out together. So our next tool is called an adjective clause. So here's the definition of an adjective clause. A dependent clause that describes a person, place, or thing. For more about dependent clauses, see pages 68 to 73. Like all clauses, adjective clauses contain a subject and a verb. Yes? Yes, I am very sorry about that. I don't know why I always forget to do that. It actually really makes me mad. I mean, not at you. It makes me mad at myself. All right. Like all clauses, adjective clauses contain a subject and its verb. Adjective clauses are descriptive attachments that independent. Oh, wait, hold on. So I'm going to stop. I should have done this first. Hold on. What is the difference between an independent and a dependent clause? Think about it. Everyone think. Think. We have an independent clause. We have a dependent clause. We know a phrase is it doesn't have a subject and a verb. We know that a clause does have a subject and a verb. Cheyenne, tell me, what is the difference between a dependent and an independent clause?
An independent clause stands on its own.
And a dependent clause? It does not. Okay. So an independent clause, it could be its own sentence. Yes, Reagan, success. All right, we know that an independent clause can be its own sentence. A dependent clause is something that even though it has a subject and a verb, even though it has a subject and a verb, it can't stand alone as a sentence. That means it has something that is causing it to not be able to stand alone as a sentence. We're going to see that thing here in a second for an adjective clause. So the difference between an independent and a dependent clause, you should be marking this down right in number 1, is an independent clause can stand alone by itself as a sentence. A dependent clause cannot. Sometimes the difference between an independent clause and a dependent clause can be just one word. If I said, he went to the store, that is an independent clause. That is a sentence. But if I said, before he went to the store, exactly, that is not a sentence. The word before changed everything about that clause. Changed it from independent to dependent. All right, now, question number 2. What is an adjective? Think about it. What is an adjective? First off, I hope that adjective is a little bit more familiar than preposition. I feel like we definitely struggled with remembering what a preposition was. All right, what is an adjective? Michaela, do you know what an adjective is? If you don't feel confident, pass.
Is it a word that describes the noun?
Yes, yes. Woo, 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 woo. I'm doing my Rocky dance, right? An adjective describes a noun. An adjective, another way that we say that is that it modifies a noun. If we modify our truck, we change the truck. We make it better. So if we have an adjective modifies a noun, it changes what we know about that noun. It makes it better.
That truck is awesome. Stop.
All right, so we're going to put those two ideas together. we know that an adjective clause is a dependent clause that, oh, here we go. We're going to look at that. Okay, so if we have an adjective and clause, we put those two things together. We're going to look at that definition right there. So now let's put it together. What is an adjective clause?
Hello?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Can I speak with someone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Does someone want to? Oh my goodness, kindergarten class. Does somebody want to tell us what an adjective clause is? Tell me what it is, Chase. Okay, stop for a second. Let's go up to the very first sentence. Read me the very first sentence. Right. Okay, so that's our definition. You're right. Those things that you are reading are true. However, our definition is this. It is a dependent clause. So it's a group of words. They have a subject and a verb. They cannot stand alone as a sentence. They're a dependent clause that describes a person, place, or thing. They modify a noun.
Person, place, or thing, punctuated by comma.
Yes. Yes, you're right. You're right. Gunnar is the head of the class here. We're not quite there yet. Okay, so I need you to remember that because we're moving towards that in a second. All right. So an adjective clause, dependent clause that describes a noun. Number 4. Okay, so now we're going to read a little bit more. All right, so second short paragraph. Adjective clauses are descriptive attachments to independent clauses and are therefore dependent clauses. We already covered that part. They often begin with one of these words, who, which, whose, and those words are called relative pronouns. So just to take apart that first part of the sentence, adjective clauses are descriptive attachments to independent clauses. We know that a dependent clause cannot stand by itself in a sentence. So it must be attached to an independent clause. So that's what they are saying here. Adjective clauses are descriptive attachments. They're going to be attached to an independent clause. And their job is going to be to describe one of the nouns in the sentence. So all adjective clauses are attached to what are they attached to, Reagan? Yes, they are all attached to independent clauses. So number 4, independent clause. They often begin with one of these words. Who, which, or whose. Those words are called relative pronouns. So what do they often begin with? Michaela, what do they often begin with? Yes. And you might want to write down who, which, and whose are the relative pronouns. All right, so whoa, that's kind of weird there. Okay, so here are some examples. I sleep with 2 cats who sleep on my legs. Okay, so if we look at that sentence, I sleep with 2 cats, right? That's our independent clause that we were talking about there. And our dependent adjective clause is who sleep on my legs. Now, are you raising your hair, Shine? Oh, no, you're just relaxing. Okay. All right. Who sleep on my legs? That is the dependent or the adjective clause. What is who sleep on my legs? What is that describing? Yes. Very good. Okay. Exactly. So when we were thinking about these things as describing nouns, they're going to be very close to the noun which they are describing. If we put that somewhere else in the sentence, it's not going to make sense. It's got to be right next to its noun. All right, now we have one that starts with which. The good news is that we Americans governed under the unique, The good news is that we Americans are governed under a unique constitution. which allows us to write whatever we please without fear of punishment. This one starts with which. What noun is it modifying? What noun is it describing? Anybody, when you can figure it out, what is it describing? Which allows us to write whatever we please without fear of punishment. What is that describing? Yes, 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 the Constitution. The Constitution is a noun. Okay. Then we have one that begins with whose and comes from To Kill a Mockingbird, which you all read last year. Stunned, Jem and I looked at each other, then at Atticus, whose collar seemed to worry him. All right, what is the noun that whose collar seemed to worry him is describing? Atticus, you got it. Okay. So notice again, those adjective clauses are right next to their nouns. Now, there's a long part here that talks about non-restrictive versus restrictive adjective clauses. I am saying in number 6, don't let yourself get bogged down in that. Let's just skip over that part because it just is going to serve to confuse us. So we don't want to get bogged down with the difference between the restrictive and non-restrictive adjective clauses. Maybe in the future we'll worry about that, but today we're not going to worry about it. In this, so at the top of page 75, the second paragraph says, in this work text, only non-restrictive adjective clauses with commas are practiced because they are the kind that add descriptive detail to your writing. Sentences that contain single or multiple adjective clauses. Okay, so this part just serves to tell us that you can put a couple of them together, or you can have them stand alone. Fantastic. Okay, let's keep moving on. Then at the very bottom, it says this. Adjective clauses can be removed without destroying the sentence, but notice how including them adds detail and style to the sentences. Adjective clauses build better sentences. So I sleep with 2 cats versus I sleep with 2 cats who sleep on my legs. Right? So, those are exact same. So we can see that the sentence is fine without it, but it really gives us more information. Now, I seem to have skipped over. Oh, no, number 6. Okay. Just know that the kind we are using need to be set apart from the rest of the sentence with a what? Number 6.
Adjective.
No. You just said it. What punctuation am I going to use?
Oh, okay.
No. You just said it like a couple minutes ago. Oh, I just messed it up. Yeah, that's it. That was the word. The last word you said.
Comma.
Yes. Okay. Right. So we're going to make sure that they are set apart from the rest of the sentence by a comma. So before an adjective clause, you need to set it apart using a comma.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, can you remove an adjective clause from a sentence and still have a sentence? Yes. If I take out any dependent clause, I will still have a sentence. This is true for all dependent clauses because we know there's still an independent clause that's attached to that dependent clause. All right, fill up number 6 and number 7. All right, once you've done that, flip over to the next page. And we are going to do this matching. We're going to do the matching section on 76. Match the adjective clause with the sentences. Write out each sentence, inserting and underlining the adjective clauses. So, and I tell you the same instructions. Next, complete the matching section found on page 76 below. There is a space for each sentence. Write out the sentences. Numbers and letters will be returned. The idea is for you to practice creating and hearing the sentences in your head in use, not just to get the correct answer. So we're going to take 7 minutes to work on that. You are going to look at the sentences, decide which adjective clause works best in that sentence, and type that sucker out. While you are doing that, I'm going to check the vocab. That is awesome. So if you would get your vocab book out for me to check while you are working on that, I will hold on and do that.
I didn't end up having time to do that in the
Vocab. Okay, well, let's see. You can work on it right now. All right, Josh, do you have any vocab for me to look at? Great, let me get yourself. Yep. There we go. Got it. And did you do the lists of the words?
Yeah.
All right. All right. First half of 4. Perfect. All right. And do you have the?
No.
You look like you don't have any of them today. They all ran away together and are having a book party without you.
I had my book out my desk and I left it out and I was running like.
Oh, the lights are still
It
on?
was leaving the house.
What was it from the rain?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, how are you working on it right now? Right. Okay.
That's first partner.
Okay. Chase, let me look at. Okay, what about before that? What about any of
I'm
the?
pretty sure I looked at one before.
Let's look at section 3.
Okay, I got one.
Okay, so
I started.
okay, all right. You need to.
Yeah, we just in a section of that.
Oh yeah. That's what it was.
Where are you going to from?
I don't know what I was going to say. All right, Josh, do you have? Let's see what I can do here. That's kind of important. Okay, do you have any? Not that one. Look back to 3. I mean, yes, 4 is what we're working on right now. Do you have any of 3 done? Okay. Well, why don't you try and at least get that finished up for us? Okay. Jen, are you working on that right now? Aren't you?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
Once I can find a pencil.
Do you have one, or do you need one?
I actually need one.
Okay. Mechanical or actually, I'm gonna use
Sure.
because the other one I don't have my sharpener out.
It don't matter either way. 8 minutes.
Thank you, sir. Okay, with that in mind, let's go ahead and just go through these really quickly so that we have a little bit of time to talk about dashes and hyphens at the very end of class. So for this practice one on page 76. All right, raise your hand if you are done, if you did number one. All right, Reagan, will you read me your number one?
His black hair, which had been combed wet earlier in the day, was drawn out and blown.
Very nice. And what is your adjective clause modifying? What is it describing? Yes, perfect. All right. How about number two? Can someone do number two for me? Mikhail, did you get number two done?
Yeah.
Okay, do you read that one for me?
Ragnar ate only flies, which he plucked from spiders.
Very good. And what is your adjective clause modifying? Perfect. All right, let's just do number three and then we'll move on. Cheyenne, can you read me number three? Perfect. And oh, there you go. Oh, you got it. Okay, perfect. All right, so get those finished up then for next week. And let's take a quick pause. I'm very quickly going to talk about the last activity that you have up for today. In this activity, the dashes versus hyphens, you're going to learn about dashes, ellipses, and hyphens from the first set of slides. So, like I said, we're going to do this in class. I'm going to talk really quickly about these forms of punctuation. I'm going to get it done in 5 minutes. All right, so the countdown begins. All right, so these forms of punctuation, this is going to be the last really punctuation work that we do for this year. And these forms of punctuation are, I would say, some of the most sophisticated and subtle that you might ever choose to use. So if we're talking about the different levels of pause that punctuation can cause in your sentence, we have a full stop. That's a period, question mark, exclamation point. That's the very first thing that you learn, right? You learn, I have a sentence and it ends with a period. There's a full stop in between two sentences. Then we have what we might call a medium pause. So we've been talking about colons and semicolons this year. And how to properly use a comma, how to avoid the comma splice. So these things, colon, semicolon, and comma, those are used between phrases and clauses. And you all have done a great job of learning how to properly use a semicolon, the right way to use a colon. And that's been very, I've been very pleased to see your progress in those areas. So pat yourself on the back about those. Knowing that these are a medium pause. This is just sort of these two things are still connected sort of pause. Now we also have what we could say is a brief pause. So this might show breath, hesitation, or emphasis. So this is a very subtle pause within your sentence building. Now the ellipsis, you're probably familiar with the ellipsis for two reasons. One, in dialogue, an ellipsis shows a hesitation, pause, interruption, or an ending. You're not going to be using an ellipsis in this way in formal writing, but if you're writing a novel or if you're writing a text, you might use the ... right? It means you're kind of hanging on there. There's a big pause. As in, are you sure? So we hear that. When we see those three dots, we hear a or a sort of a pause in the sentence. He went that way. Okay. We can hear that by seeing it. We also might use an ellipsis when citing a direct quotation. When you want to skip part of the quote, or if you want to only use the middle of a sentence for a quote when you're doing formal writing, you use those 3 dots. Nod your head if you've seen this used before. Have you done this before? I bet you have. Yeah. So you don't want to write the huge long passage. You only want this middle part. You use the 3 dots. It can be used in the middle to cut some crap out. It can be used at the beginning or the end to show that this is the middle part and not the beginning or ending of the sentence. All right, so we're not going to focus on those too much. My guess is you're probably pretty comfortable with those. We're going to look, oh man, the times are really ticking. Dashes and hyphens. Thank you. So we have 2 different kinds of dashes and a hyphen. We are going to go over these again in class next week, so don't panic if this seems really confusing. First, we have what is called the M dash and the N dash. If you look at this right here, it shows that an M dash is the longer of the 2. If we think about the 2 humps of the M, that makes it a longer, an M dash. An N dash, the N only has 1 hump, so it's a little bit shorter, an N dash. And then we have the little bitty baby hyphen. So an N dash, so just 1 dash. So if I was typing on my computer, if you look up there where the little dash is, this is just one of those. You would hit it twice to make an M dash. And then over on the keypad, you'll see the hyphen. In general, the hyphen and the N dash often look pretty much interchangeable. So if we look at the N dash, which is just the 1 dash, it acts like the word through, or it connects pre to the rest of a sentence. So pre-World War II or prepay, those aren't actually words. We can attach pre to another word by using an N dash. And N dash also shows the word, it pretends to be the word through. So May through September, June 30th through August the 2nd, or pages 146 through 159. We read this little guy as through. Oh, okay. I'm taking 1 more minute. The M dash, which is 2 dashes together, boom, boom, shows interruptions in a sentence, like in a positive or a non-restrictive phrase or clause. It acts a little bit like a comma, only with more emphasis. So if I said, no one, not even the CEO, saw it coming. So this is sort of the way a colon pointed things out, a dash interrupts you and points things out. So if I said, Chase, okay, I got it. Chase Knudsen.
Hang on. How do you say my last name?
Oh, you know I can't say it right.
How do you say it?
I said Knudsen.
Knudsen.
I know, but I know someone named Knudsen. She's Knudsen, you're Knudsen. Okay, anyway, we show an interruption with a dash. We will worry about getting into that later on. Here are some examples and how to fill that in. We don't have time to go over them. Yes, I see that, and you can pitch it in the trash. All right, so really quickly, your assignment to go along with that, and I apologize for not being able to go over this with you. You're going to be completing this sort. You're going to use those resources. This slideshow is going to help you do it. When you look at this, you're going to say, Miss Sell, those are too small. I can't see them. Go up here to this little magnifying glass. Magnify him by, don't know if it's all the way, you won't be able to see it. Magnify him to 50%, and then you can just click on one of these and then move him over here. So if it has a hyphen, an N dash, or an M dash, it's going to go in one of these 3 things. You're going to turn it in when you're finished. And I think I remember to give you each one of those. Okay. I would tell you to ask a question, but there's no time for questions today. Whoops, sorry.
We don't get dismissed until 2:50.
All right, what's that?
I said we don't get dismissed until 2:50. So I mean, we have to.
Well, this class, that's the truth. All right, so let's go ahead and Get packed up
The computer's away.
and yep, put your Chromebook away. I'm gonna bring you your wipey, but don't wipe your desk until it's like almost time.
I almost finished this. This stuff.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I just,
Well, I'll check. How about I just check it tomorrow so that I don't.
I'll finish it tonight.
Okay, that'd be great. Oh, if you just leave it at your desk. Leave those piles of books on your desk. Maybe on your chair. Oh, you have to wipe down your desk. Oh, I don't know what to tell you to do this. Just wipe it and put it down. It's all right if they get wet. I'll dry them off. Who still needs one? Kyla, do you need one?
Yes.
You're the only one. All right. There we go. Okay, so we were going to do autumn leaves or spring breeze. We can start with that, but then I have some good questions to ask you. All right. So our formal exit question today is autumn leaves or spring breeze. Callista, autumn leaves or spring breeze? All right, Reagan, Michaela, Josh, Gunnar, Chase.
What's the question again?
Autumn leaves or spring breeze?
You know, most people say spring breeze
Okay.
because of fishing, but
Oh,
personal reference, I'll be fall.
okay. Cheyenne. Reagan, did I already ask you? Okay. Miss Hunter, autumn leaves or spring breeze?
Spring breeze.
Okay. All right. Now this is based on Chase's question earlier. Is yes or no, is a hot dog a sandwich?
That was not my question.
Michaela, is a hot dog a sandwich? Okay, so yes. What do you think? Reagan, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yeah.
Miss Hunter, is a hot dog a sandwich?
One, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Chase Knudsen, is a hot dog a sandwich? I said it right, didn't I?
You said Newton.
No, I said Knudsen.
Yeah, you said
Oh, that's a lie. All right. Chase Knudsen, is it a sandwich? Is a hot dog a sandwich?
yes, because it's meat in between.
Meat in between two. Okay. Mr. Wrist, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is this English?
Yeah. It's our exit question. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh, I can ask my tomato one too.
Is it?
Between two pieces of bread.
Two pieces of bread?
The Earl sandwich would classify as a hot dog sandwich.
Uh-huh.
Mr.
Uh-huh.
Rice. I mean, you can take a hot dog and slice it down the middle and put it on, you know, a couple of pieces of rye bread. I mean, hot
Yep.
dog, you know,
Then you have a sandwich.
you know.
Yep.
I mean, I'd rather have a sausage. I'd rather have a sausage than a hot dog. But that's a different story.
All right. Cheyenne, is a hot dog a sandwich? No. Aha, a bold stance. Callista, did you already say?
Why not?
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I'd say yeah.
Okay. Gunner, is a hot dog a sandwich?
Technically.
Technically, yeah.
It's
All right.
It's on a bun. I mean,
Okay, go ahead. Chase wants to ask his question.
If a tomato is considered a fruit, it's ketchup a tomato. Tomato is considered a fruit. I guess, yeah. I mean, what? But smoothies don't have tomatoes in them. Bananas and yogurt.
Exactly.
They're
See,
fruit.
it's
They're
ridiculous.
fruit in them. So I
All right.
couldn't imagine mixing.
No, because
Okay,
you wouldn't
Chase,
drink it with a straw when you were finished with it.
To prove me, we'll bring a blender.
Where are you going?
We'll put some yogurt and tomatoes in there, blend them up.
And if you drink it, it's a
See,
smoothie.
It's a smoothie.
Yes.
I will. I will.
see if it makes ketchup.
You think I won't? You know, ketchup's real interesting though. How, like, when you go to the store, here's your factory. You got all these different types of mustard, right? But there's only one type.
It's
because-
true.
Because ketchup, when they made ketchup at the turn of the century, they made it just to sell tomatoes, and it has all 5 of your senses in
Did
it.
you say that they made it just to sell tomatoes?
Yes, and so ketchup has sweet, sour, bitter, salty, and umami. It has all 5.
Really?
It has the
I
right
never thought
combination
about
of
that.
all 5 tastes.
Uh-huh.
That's why you like ketchup so much, and that's why when you go to the store, they don't make like, you know, steak
Right.
ketchup,
Right,
ketchup
right.
or you know, or dark brown ketchup. Ketchup is all the same because they're all trying to hit on that perfect spot to hit all your senses.
My dad helped build the Heinz factory. He said that once you realize what they used to make ketchup, you won't ever want to eat it again.
I think that's probably true for a lot of foods.
It's just tomatoes. It's just tomatoes.
Yeah.
What they do is they put that other combination of stuff in there.
Mhm.
Like, and that's like most big factories, Gunner. It's like if you would go
They're
to a
gross.
slaughterhouse or go see Cheerios made.
Yeah.
It's-
Ooh, I bet the hot dog factory's extra gross.
Yeah, I bet that.
Yeah.
You work at a pizza place, and you see like how they make the pizza.
Yeah.
It changes your whole perspective.
It's true. I think just working in food service in general will definitely give you. Well, Mr. Risk knows all about the meat packing industry, huh? Because he's seen what goes into that. Oh, that's probably way less gross. I mean, since it wasn't like a factory, since where you worked wasn't a factory.
Yeah, but when I was a little kid, I was playing with my Hot Wheels and my Matchboxes right there in the room next door. They were killing cattle, and I look over there, like, okay.
Yeah. See, look, you guys, what's going on?
I wish I could make up this stuff.
He said I was traumatized.
Oh, it's
No,
240.
I wasn't.
240, not 245, 235. See, I'm so confused. I don't know when class is over.
You put a bowl of frosted flakes in the microwave, you press defrost.
Yeah. Okay, wait, here's the next question. All right, are you ready? Is cereal soup?
Oh, you got that. I read this.
What's that?
You got that off of Nathan.
No, I stole it from, it was one of our questions from last year's English 11. Is it a soup? Is cereal a soup?
No, because you can't eat cold soup.
Yes, you can. Vichyssoise.
What?
Vichyssoise is cold soup. I think it's, vichyssoise is maybe cucumber soup. And borscht, I think, is cold too.
Eat. Like soup is supposed to be. Fuego. Muy caliente.
Okay.
Every single paper.
Remember reading this one?
Are you picking a book over there, Mr.
I like
Rick?
the Kite Runner.
I
myself.
love that book.
I
It
just,
is really good.
because I always like to read about places that I've never
Mhm.
been, you know? It's like, I don't need to read about Southern Ohio.
That's true. I've been here
But,
once or twice.
the Kite Runner, you know.
Yeah. It definitely helps you understand like a lot about how.
Pretty cool to go to
I remember
Afghanistan.
reading this one.
Yeah. Mhm.
But I don't remember much about the other three I don't.
Yep.
I haven't read.
It'd be pretty cool to go to Afghanistan.
Maybe not today, but you know,
I'd like to go to the Middle East. I mean,
I would absolutely. I'm just saying that it would be not
mean-
not like a great place to go and tourist right now.
I have friends that
I would
lived in
love to.
Saudi Arabia
Mhm.
in the 80s. You know, they made a lot. They were teachers. They made a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
What they said was so cool about it. I mean, the one gal, Connie, she still had her burqa, and she showed up to a Halloween party dressed in her burqa, and walked around for like
Gosh.
20 minutes. And
No
of
one
course,
knew who it
all the
was,
new
yeah.
teachers that didn't know that they lived in Saudi
Oh my gosh.
didn't know who she was.
Oh my
She had put
gosh.
this beautiful black burqa, and it had the thing that covered her eyes up. And I mean, we didn't know who it was until
Yeah.
the head part.
Well, you know,
So I don't-
Sierra and Zach were thinking about moving there because he got a really good job offer. I mean, I guess they just like are rolling in cash, and there was a new tech company that offered him a bunch of money to move over there. Thank goodness they didn't, because that's too far away, and I don't want my daughter living in a country that's that, repressive towards women. I
You
know.
know,
I know.
they're bought and sold. I mean,
Oh, we were just talking about arranged marriages not too long ago.
Or if we were over there and you were over there, you could not leave the house unless you were accompanied by one male person of your clan. Just can't go.
No.
Can't.
No.
They've finally got the ability to drive, and you would have to be.
Yeah, that was the big one, was being able to drive.
There's a slim chance I might go to
Couldn't see your
Afghanistan.
hair, anything.
Are you gonna join the military?
Yeah.
Is that
I'm Marine. There's like, I heard from Sergeant Page, because he came in last Thursday.
Uh-huh.
He said the top 3 places that I'm more likely to go is Japan, Baghdad, or somewhere in Afghanistan.
But you'll first go to
Japan. Or Paris Island.
Paradise Island.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I'm east of the Mississippi.
East in the Mississippi.
Yeah, which is weird.
Where are those people going?
Huh?
So where are those people sneaking off to?
Heading out early.
I
You
know.
have
In the
you,
road.
you basically have a choice where you want to go to basic. I mean, I'd rather go to Paris Island. Like, I'd rather go to California just because, like, it's got more mountains over there.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, I'd rather go to swampy, trek over Paris Island.